Okay, friends, I just want to talk about the hell of a day, a couple days I've had. First place is a disclaimer that this video should not be interpreted like I'm an expert. I'm an amateur. Doing these things can cause you death, harm, lose an eye, go blind, severe injury. So if you do work on your car, you do it at your own risk, etc., etc. Get a mechanic. I'm just not qualified. I'm just relating my experience. Now, I have NISSAN XTERRA 2010, and I went to pop the hood and pulled the cable release all the way back, and nothing happened. Now my hearing is shitty, but I didn't hear a click, feel a click, nothing. So I went out there and looked, and the hood was down, whatever. So went on, saw a couple YouTube videos, and went on the internet. The YouTube videos, I don't know, they get you kind of halfway there, but they don't really give you the essence. See, I like things that give you the essence. So what I did gather from one of the blog sites was, this guy says, I can't get my Pathfinder, whatever kind of Nissan he had, open, and the guy says, well, look, you know, pull your lever back and hold it, and then go, and then after you get the hood open, make sure your rubber stoppers are okay. And the guy's like, look, you don't understand. I can't get the hood open. And he says, yeah, I know. So when you open it, put the stoppers there, you know. And these are the kind of people that you get this information, and you know, really ticks you off. Like, aren't you listening? But I think later, what I gather was that he kept saying, lift it up with your hands. So I said, let me try that. Maybe I can lift it up with my hands. So I go out there and I have somebody pull the lever up, and I get a screwdriver, you know, a big ass screwdriver, and a t-shirt, and I wrap the t-shirt around a little bit, and I get out of there, and the thing just comes up easy as hell. I mean, you could have lifted it up with your fingers, but a Nissan XTERRA hood is very heavy when you're lifting it. There's no springs, there's no counterbalance. It's just all dead weight. So they're really heavy, and you'd think maybe it was locked because it's so heavy. So I get it up there, and I couldn't believe it, because I'm watching all these YouTube videos about this guy does this guy does that. And so what they don't tell you, these guys who say, you know, put a water bottle there and all, is that the hood is open. You just don't know it. So the hood is unlocked, it's just not springing up for some reason. So you go out there and you lift it up. Now it looked like when I got the hood open, everything was working fine. Now things are a little bit rusty and all. So I put the oil down really well, lubed it up with a lot of oil, and then I started playing around with just trying to figure out how it worked, because I always say about knife mechanisms is, if you really want to learn how the mechanism works, you know, the real essence of it, part of that should be trying to learn how it breaks, how it fails. So I'm learning this thing. So anyway, here's what they don't tell you on these YouTube videos. And I drew a couple diagrams, hope you can go along. This is opposite. If you're looking at the car from the front, this will be the opposite. This is looking from the back. Okay? Now the concept is that you've got basically two pieces of metal that do the locking. Okay? You got a piece of metal shaped like this. Okay? And what, you know, and the hood if you got the hood here, this is your lock bar here. Okay? So what you're going to do is, actually, you know, this is from the side view. So, you know, what you're looking at, I guess, is that. I don't know. So what you're going to do is when you bring this hood down, that this bar is going to go into this V. Okay? And then you have got a locking lever that looks like this. And what happens is, this is it here. What happens is that this thing is sitting, and this bar is going to go in to here. So this thing is sitting like this. And it's got a pivot. This is the pivot. All right? So when this goes in, it's got this spring that's pulling it this way. But it's going to pivot this way. It's going to make this spring tighter. So this thing is going to go down. This top piece is going to come over top of this bar here, going this way. It's turned. It's going to go top over this way. When this comes down, this thing is going to capture it. So it comes down and it pivots this way, and it captures this bar. Okay? Now, and this spring wants to pull it unlock. So what happens is when this comes down, this part here, there's another piece in the back. This is where you can't see. There's another piece in the back. And this is going to come in, and it's going to slip past this thing here, because this is a pivot here. So this thing pivots this way. And it's on a spring. And it's got a little T-flange here that sort of stops it. Now there's a T-flange. There's nothing on this thing. Why the hell they make it a T-flange? I don't know. But it only stops this. And this thing's going to come past here, and then it's going to lock. So it's going to look like this here. So this bar is going to be in here, and it's going to be locked down, and you got your V metal here. So it's held tight. It's held right and left in this V-shaped piece of metal, and then it's held down by this, and this is held by this lever. Now here is the sort of the safety latch or whatever. This is the latch. This is the latch that holds the latch. Okay? This thing cannot come up. If this thing pivots up, it's going to let go of this bar, and the hood's going to come up. Okay? So what holds this in is this latch here, and it's on a spring. Now, to unlock the hood, you have to pull this thing out of the way, this little lever this way. So here's a pivot, here's a lever, it pivots this way. You have to pull this out of the way. Now this is where your cable goes. Your cable is connected, and what's going to happen is it's going to pull, this is going to pull towards the driver's side. When you pull the lever up, it's going to pull towards the driver's side. And when this pulls out, this arm here is going to let loose. This is going to rotate this way, and this heavy spring is going to pull it, and you're going to hear a big click, and this bar is going to let loose, and it's going to come up. That's the whole thing. So the trick to unlatching the hood is to pull on this, and then that'll release this. And we'll see in the car how to do that. That's the whole idea. And this thing is in the back, so you got this piece of metal with the V up front. Behind it is this other latch, and then behind that, finally, I guess basically in the same plane, is this unlatching lever. So that's the mechanism. And the thing that can fail is if this cable breaks or whatever. Now, for some reason in these Nissans, I guess, when you unlock the hood, there's not enough spring to flip this up and pop the hood up. If this spring breaks, it won't pop the hood up, even though the hood is unlatched. So this spring must not be strong enough to pop that Nissan hood up. But anyway, I waxed the hell out of it, and I come up with the fix on it, the hack on it, which I'll show you. Okay, this is the front view, the metal. There's that V groove. Actually, it's a deep U, and that's the lock bar goes down in there. And this is the unlocked position. You can see that that one leg of the lock is in the way. And what happens is when you slam the hood down, that's going to cause it to flip over, and that sort of fish mouth thing is going to grab the lock bar. There's the big spring for the locking mechanism. That's in the back. You can just see that big pivot pin right there of the latch. And unfortunately, the spring is in the way. You really can't see what's going on. There's that big spring. And even if you push it out of the way, you really can't see much. So
get some glasses on so I can see
it's
what
really tough.
All right, so what I'm going to do.
Okay, now, I'm going to push on the big lever,
come in
locking lever.
Can you come over?
And it goes that way. It pivots toward the passenger side, and when it locks, it's on a lever, so the top goes toward the driver's side. Okay, and I'm just showing you how. Now I'm going to try and lock the latch, and I really can't do it with the screwdriver pushing on the tail. I'm really pushing on it, but you can't do it. So I'm going to need like two. There's the other latch that holds it secondary. It has nothing to do with this mechanism. That's a different latch altogether, and that's in the front. Okay, didn't lock it. I'm trying to lock the latch. I'm going to get the other screwdriver, and we'll finally get it over there. I'm in that fish mouth right there that holds the lock bar, and you just got to push it a little bit more so it flips over and gets caught. And that's it. Now it's locked. Okay, that's the locked position. If the hood lock bar was down in there, it would be held. I'm going to use a screwdriver now and unlock it. I have to push this over towards the driver's side. It's unlocked now. So I push the release latch toward the driver's side, and that unlocked it.
I tell you what.
That little spring goes to that secondary locking lever. All right, this is the cable. All right. That's loose, that's pulling it. That's loose, that's pulling it. Loose, pulling on the inside thing. Loose and pulling it. All right. And maybe you can see the lever moving. It's moving the lever. Sorry about the focus.
Okay.
And then it unlocked. This is a hook I made that didn't work. I kept bending it. I played with this thing for like 45 minutes. I couldn't get it. And there's a little arm on the release lever, and I swear they made this arm so that mechanics could unlock this thing. I found this out later. And I just couldn't get it. I kept bending it, and I thought it was too fat, and thought I never got it back there. I'm trying to get the spring out of the way so you can see, but you can't. And I'm manipulating this hook I made, trying to get back there.
Okay.
Not very successful. I'm manipulating the hook, trying to get back there. Now you can see my hook pushing. So I'm pushing the hook, the extra arm, I'm sorry, with the screwdriver. That little tip that you can barely see, that's the thing you want to pull on. I'm pushing it with a screwdriver. That's the essence of unlocking this thing. A little tip there. Now I finally do get the hook around and I start pulling it. Now, I got it.
You know, I could have got that son of a bitch.
I'm pulling on it.
I could have got it. But boy, I was, you know, I didn't know. I didn't know. Go ahead. Yeah.
So
it worked.
The cable unlocked
okay.
the latch. So I know I got a working mechanism.
Go ahead.
For real. Baby, that's an ah moment. That's after a bunch of oil. Now here's a loop I made out of some stainless wire. I bent it a little bit, and I'm going through the grill, just like the other one. I'm going to get behind the latch, and I'm going to find that little arm on the unlocking lever. And you can see this barely. If you have a flashlight looking through the grill, you can barely see it. Now, I was on it. I got off to show you again. Now, I'm looking for it, and got it. Now, I'm pulling it. I'm pulling on it. That's unlocking it. That's what you got to do. And I'm keeping this wire. Have no doubt. This wire is going in the trunk or something. If I ever need it, I know how to use it. Thanks a lot. Good luck with that.